What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another training vlog with myself, JD Fitness, aka George Ducatus, aka the craziest coach out there. Um, don't ask what that intro was about. But anyway, so on with this session. So to start off with this pull session, you guys are going to be watching a pull session. Okay, so this is about week 3 into my new mesocycle. Okay, so what we've got here, as you guys are seeing right now, is basically my standard warm-up. So we start the stretch with 5 touchdowns, 5 to 10 touchdowns. I say 5 to 10 purely because it really varies. I mean, at this stage in my training, I've been training for so long, I tend to go a lot by feel. I kind of know how I should be feeling through each stretch. But if you guys are doing this, I recommend anything from like 10 to 15 kind of touchdowns as a great kind of starting point. From there, we go to touchdown and walk it forward, stretch out the hip flexors, the abs, stretch everything out, the hammies. And then from there, we do on some band work. Okay, now the band work is something I've recently started using, and I find it really beneficial to just improve my general mobility before I go and head into the weights rooms. It's a great way in this case for some of the movements you're going to see me doing to just open up my back, warm up my rotator cuffs, and just free up some movement in the scapula, as you can see with the resistant band. As I'm kind of pulling it and I'm retracting my delts, and just kind of improving, just warming up the mobility through my scapula. All right, and then obviously to finish off with the good old famous foam roller. I've been foam rolling for as long as I can remember. Various arguments against the foam roller or for a foam roller as well. So, I mean, personally, I'm a big fan. I use it with a lot of my clients. They find benefit from it. I find benefit from it. Whether it's a placebo or not, some people would say, I don't know. We see great improvements, so I'm going to go with what I believe in, and that is the foam rolling. It's pretty damn good and helps with mobility. So the whole idea of doing a foam roller pre-training is basically nice and simple, just to improve blood flow, just obviously loosen up my back. It's quite tight. I mean, I like to warm up all my muscle groups before any exercise, and I just put more emphasis on the muscles I'm going to be targeting that day. So even though it's a back day, you see me do obviously touchdowns to, kind of just stretch out the hammies. You see me do all various sorts of stretches. I mean, this was quite a simple one. I have since then incorporated different mobility work into my warm-up routine. It's actually a little bit longer, but I'm finding it more and more beneficial. So you have only got one body, so it's important that you look after it. So going on to the first exercise, in this mesocycle, we've been starting with a brand new machine. We've actually just gone to the gym, and I absolutely love. It's a hammer low roll pull. Damn, that was a twist on words. So the tricky part with this specific machine is the fact that the chest pad is thick as hell. So to get used to it, it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but I've got used to it, and it's been great improvement actually. Throughout this mesocycle, and I'm feeling more and more comfortable on my 4 plates, working set, improving each week on rep ranges and sets. So this is great. So how I approach this exercise is basically, after all the mobility work you guys see me do, I go on and get a high rep range warm up, so 20 reps. Then I move on. So this will start with 1 plate aside. Then I move on to 2 plates aside, and go for 10 reps. Sometimes I might feel like I need to get a few extra, so I will, but I'd stick to keep it basic. We'll go with 10 reps, then go on to a third warm-up set of 3 plates aside, which is also 10 reps, and then we go on to a last warm-up set. And the reason why I do so many warm-ups is purely because, like I said, previous injuries I've had in the past, and I just know how my body feels. If I feel like, I've done something, if my body feels different, and I don't need as many warm-up sets, then I'm not going to do as many warm-up sets. But I find in terms of increasing my strength, improving my sessions, This is the first exercise in a session. I found it was really beneficial to get this amount of warm-ups. But yeah, so the last warm-up set is 4 plates, and 4 plates aside would, in this case, would be my first working set as well. So what we do with the first working set weight, we use that to do the last warm-up, which would be a 5 reps. Now the 5 reps is just to shock and warm up that central nervous system. Just prepare the body for a heavy load. So you just do a short amount of reps. So in this case, 4 or 5. Just to kind of get the body prepared, rest for about 45 to 60 seconds, and then go in and absolutely kill it. So we did actually 14 reps, I believe it was. So that is the first exercise of this session. Then moving on, we go on to rack pulls. So the rack pulls obviously is something that's new into my mesocycle. Rack pulls is not something I've usually used. I've started rack pulls, not my last mesocycle, but the one before that. I incorporate them a little bit lightly. After I found out I couldn't really deadlift, I gave my, that kind of hinge pull move a bit of a rest, and now I feel comfortable doing it. Still not comfortable in doing a full deadlift, but since it is an upper only pull session, I've added on the rack pull to this mesocycle because I just find it, instead of doing a full range of movement deadlift where you can incorporate a lot more the lower body, it's unnecessary. You can save that for a lower body day. So this is where the rack pull comes in. Strength has increased on this. I feel really good. I'm really happy how this exercise has progressed. And how it goes is we do about 2 to 3 warm-up sets once again, and we do about 2, sometimes trying to push it to a third working set at the moment. And as heavy as we go on this is 110 kilos. And it's not impressively heavy. However, I do feel extremely comfortable in this scenario. So on this session, we actually, we only went up to 100. And that felt fine by me, and I didn't feel comfortable going heavier that day. However, my recovery has been improving. So that is the reason for the rack pull. So it's about 3 warm-up sets and 2 trying to push it to that third working set. And the rep range, by the way, is about 10 to 12. Okay, so that is where we're at. And also trying to push that rep range a little bit higher. But we're getting there. So next exercise, probably one of my favorite back exercises. And I'm big on bodyweight exercise, and it's a chin-up. You can argue, well, why didn't you do a pull-down? If you can do both, then, have a chin-up on one mesocycle, have a pull-down on another mesocycle if you're training. Personally, I like having a bodyweight. I like basically every single mesocycle have some sort of variation of a bodyweight exercise in each muscle group. Purely because just to keep the practice, I find just it's important to be able to lift your body weight. Okay, is it actually key? For example, like as a bodybuilder, is it actually going to benefit me on stage if I can lift my body weight? No, not at all. But just from the years of training and the history of background of training I come from, it's important to me that I can always be able to lift my body weight, even if it gets harder as I get heavier. As long as I can achieve a set amount of rep ranges, I'm fine. But regardless, this is one of the best exercises for your lats, and 9 times out of 10 it's done wrong. People tend to have this theory that if you go close grip, you're working on thickness. If you go in wide grip, you're going to create on width, and that is a big damn lie. When you go really wide on this exercise, you'll actually find that your range of movement is a lot shorter. You're not getting as much from the stretch. You're not getting as an effective contraction. So as you can see from my stance, I go just a little bit wider than shoulder width, and I find that's just the sweet spot to really isolate my lats. So don't worry about going so much as wide as you can, because you might say some people they say, oh, but it's harder. That doesn't matter. Your range of movement is short, and you're not going to get much out of it. So come a little bit narrower, and you find that you're actually able to contract and work your lats a lot more efficiently. So next exercise is the face pull. Now, once again, recovering from various injuries I have at the moment. This is insane. I haven't dealt with this many injuries in my life. This is the first time I've learned from them, and I'm glad they're nothing serious. I've taken away major or direct, as such, traps and rear delt movements. I've had the slight issue with my teres minor rotator cuff along my traps, and it's been quite painful. However, I've had that treated, but I found in this specific mesocycle the only way to not irritate that further was to keep just big movements away from it. So what we've done to kind of get the blood, I mean, with the rack pulls, you're gonna still hit your traps a little bit, and you're gonna hit your rear delts. But I've added in a cable face pull. This is the only exercise I feel like I could do at this moment in time that doesn't really aggravate my rear delt too much, in a negative way, I mean. But yeah, it's been great. The recovery's been great. Shoulders feeling better day in and day out, which is awesome. But for this specific mesocycle that I've been following, this has been it. Just one set of face pulls, and it's felt great. So we do, sorry, not one set, one exercise for rear delts, which is face pull, and we do about 2 to 3 warm-up sets and just one working set of about 10 to 15 repetitions. Next exercise, we're going on to biceps. Now, the biceps are probably 2 of my favorite bicep exercises, and just the 2 most basic and key exercises, in my opinion, for building great biceps. And that is, number 1 exercise, as you're about to see, is a hammer curl with the dumbbells. Hammer is going to work in your kind of the outer part of your bicep, your brachialis, your outer part. So with this, you see that sometimes on my right arm I do an extra rep, and that's simply because my right arm is slightly smaller and is slightly weaker to my left arm. My left arm's a lot bigger, fuller. So I just do a couple extra reps to try kind of just even out. Your body's never going to be perfect. You are going to have one side bigger than the other. You're going to have one leg bigger than the other, one arm bigger than the other. But, if I can do anything around it to try and kind of balance it out as much as possible, then we will do that. So I've been doing this, and it's been so far so good, working pretty well. So you'll notice that I do the odd extra rep on the right arm, and then that's pretty much it. So with this, we do just nice and easy, just 2 warm-up sets, and then just 1 big ass working set of a rep range of about 12. And after that, to finish off, another bodyweight exercise, and once again, probably, in my opinion, once again, the most underrated bicep exercise out there, regardless of what your argument is against it, and that is a close grip supinated, so supinated but your palms are facing in, pull up. I mean, inevitably, you will hit your lats a little bit because of the nature of the movement. That's absolutely normal, but it does depend how you approach the exercise. So shoulder width, maybe just a tad closer than that, grip or distance apart, and that's pretty much it. Make sure you get the full stretch all the way to the bottom and then all the way up. Now you'll see on this set, I am not doing that. This was my 3rd set of this exercise. Don't ask why I didn't film the 1st set. And my body was absolute fatigue to the max, and as you can see, I'm all over the place. So yeah, bad example. But no, this is basically it, guys. This has been my pull session for the last 3 weeks so far. As I am recording this, we're on to the 4th week, which has been even better. But yeah, this has been the mesocycle, as I've seen great results from it. Everything has been improving. I feel stronger. Aches and pains are going. Recovery is improving. So give this a try if you want to. Subscribe below. Leave a comment. Be nice. Yeah, it is me. Over and out. Give it a share, people.